We got to talk about this. I think there's a lesson to learn. There's a lesson to learn. Texas mega church Tony Evans resigned after nearly 50 years over mysterious sin. Mysterious sin. Now, people are saying, what is going on here? What did Tony Evans do? Friends, we don't really know. And I'm not going to speculate. My job is not to condemn the man. All I know is he steps down. He hasn't revealed what it is. But some people have an issue with this. They're saying, how are you going to step down about a particular sin, but you refuse to reveal what it is? Some are saying that's a violation of James chapter 5. Confess your sin one to another. Pray for one another that you may be healed, which I understand. So the point is that if you are stepping down, you must be willing to share the reason why you're stepping down, right? That's one side of the issue. But I think in this situation, there might be more going on. There might be some court. There might be some litigation going on. So it's kind of like there might be some lawsuits. Some people believe there's blackmail happening. There's a scandal. It might be sexual. It might be financial. We don't personally know. These are speculations, friends. I'm alleging here. But I do understand the argument, though. Like, if you're stepping down, what's the reason, right? Anyway, I would like to hear your thoughts. If you know more about the situation than I do, I would like to hear your thought when it comes to it. Anyway, I'm going to take a minute now to listen to this video. I do have another clip where somebody shared a really good perspective on this. His name is Too Strong. I'm going to put a link in the description to this guy. I like how balanced of an approach he has about this matter. Anyway, so nevertheless, let's take a listen to this, the news clip here, and then we share some thoughts at the end.
Well-known Dallas pastor Dr. Tony Evans stepped aside from leading the 10,000-member Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship. Evans cited a past sin as the reason for the move after more than 40 years at the pulpit. Our 4 Stephen Dial live with what Evans told the congregation. Stephen.
Yeah, the news was a big shock to the faith-based community nationwide, and Evans, who recently got married, said that he committed no crime, but committed a sin. Sunday, renowned Dallas pastor Dr. Tony Evans told his congregation he would be stepping away from his senior pastoral duties. Evans spoke to the congregation, but it was not part of the recording posted to the church website, which featured lead associate pastor Bobby Gibson.
Good morning, Oak Cliff. Come on, clap, 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 clap.
Evans grew the congregation of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship to 10,000 members, serving as pastor for more than 40 years. Evans said the foundation of his ministry is the commitment to the Word of God as the supreme standard. In a statement, he went on to say, "A number of years ago, I fell short of that standard. I am therefore required to apply the same biblical standard of repentance and restoration to myself that I have applied to others." There's been much speculation as to what specifically caused Evans to step aside and for how long. He did not address that directly, but said, "While I have committed no crime, I did not use righteous judgment in my actions. In light of this, I am stepping away from my pastoral duties and am submitting to a healing and restoration process established by the elders." Evans' ministry was the genesis for former President George Bush's faith-based initiative. Bush visited the church in '98 during his campaign and returned as president for the dedication of the church's Christian Education Center.
He decided to become part of this special unveiling.
Evans also has ties to the Dallas Cowboys. His son, Jonathan, is the team chaplain. During his time with the Cowboys, Tony Romo worked with Evans, donating $1 million to his urban initiative. Romo's donation led to the nationwide expansion of the program, where churches adopted public schools and provided mentoring and other services.
I mean, I don't know, man. What do you make of this? I really don't know what to think at this moment, but I think the move is a good move, though. Whatever the reason may be, we don't necessarily know at this time, so we cannot speculate. But I think more ministers need to be doing stuff like this, right? If you know something had happened that could potentially impact the image of the church in a very negative way, you step down, you deal with yourself, and if the Lord will restore you, you can come back to work, or you let somebody else take over. And Evans has been through a lot. I respect Pastor Tony Evans. We may not agree on many theologies, of course, but when it comes to Christian living, marriage and like calling for change and to be filled with the Spirit of God, zeal for the Lord, I can't argue against that. When it comes to test and choose Bible prophecies, that's a whole different story. but the man has been preaching for a long time, preaching really, really strong, and I give him some godly respect. So here, we're going to listen to Strong is going to make a comparison here. And what he's about to do is going to show the attitude of Tony Evans versus T.D. Jakes. And he's going to show that these two men, one steps down to do the right thing, to protect the image and the reputation of the church. But the other, despite all the allegations, stand bold and firm on the pulpit. And the church have endorsed it. And I was like, all right, well, I see what you just did here. Great job. I'm going to put a link in the description below so I can quote him. Go show him some love and respect. Let's take a listen.
And living it out, the book, the Bible, and preaching from it, the book, the Bible. If I were to only have two contestants and one was Tony and one was TD, the obvious winner would be Tony. Because he is seeing something further down the road like a shepherd should, and doing his best to avoid it harming the people he's supposed to be shepherding. Meanwhile, the other guy is continuing to do things that will make sure that his congregation stumbles, all the while telling people, I'm fine. I'm really happy you're concerned about me.
Go ahead and lift him up. I am fine. I'm good.
When you look at these two men, one's a man, the other one, I don't know what he is. When you look at these two individuals with a deductive reasoning mind, you have to come to only one conclusion. One is completely aware of what his actions can do to other people, and the other one is completely oblivious. He could either be oblivious or he really does not give two damns about what people think, to the point where even if it's anti-God, he still pushes it. Yet still we have a whole slew of people trying to find out what it is that Tony did. What did he do? What sin was it? Why? How? When? What? How long ago? Why does it matter if he took the steps that's necessary for somebody caught in sin? For the first time, a preacher actually takes responsibility and says, it's on me. I'm stepping down and stepping away because of that. He's getting all kinds of attention for that. Meanwhile, the snake himself is running around, masquerading all over the place. I know that people gave slack to him when he cut with the TD Jakes thing and Puff Daddy. People went after TD. I get that, but nobody went after him for the myriads of lies he told about God. They didn't do that. Select few channels, maybe. Select few people. This is a big problem in the church today. You know why? Because we ourselves have become hypocrites. If we like somebody, we look past their flaws. And that person then feels entitled to continue in the flaws because you don't care.
Good point, though. I'm going to put a link in the description below. We don't have to go here any more of that. He's got some really good points he's making here. I see he's making a comparison and he's contracting and everything. I wouldn't necessarily do that. I think we should look at what's happening to Tony Evans as case value. For case value, it's in itself, and just examine the content for itself and see what's happening and to see how it applies spiritually as well. But the fact of the matter is, there is obviously something going on that is really bad on the image of the church, and a change had to come. And since he decided to step down, I think he deserves some respect, right? At least the least we can actually do is give him some godly respect. So here's another thing I want to share with you. And if people will simply follow, and I'll tell you what, man, if people will simply follow this qualification, if churches will hold these standards up, I'll tell you something. Over 80% to 90% of ministers will have been fired if this standard was upheld. But unfortunately, it is not. Listen carefully. A bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. Look and listen, not given to wine, no striker, not greedy or filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous. Ha! Boy. Ah, Lord, have mercy on us. One that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? He must not be a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he falls into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he falls into reproach and the snare of the devil. Ah, boy. So let's just take these verses. Let's just say you take these standards. Let's look at 3 of them. We don't want to go too far. Husband of one wife. Friends, you see that one alone? Do you know how many ministers will have been fired, disqualified, removed from the pulpit? Just on that one. Okay, that's one. Let me give you another one. What about this one? Greedy of filthy lucre. Lord have mercy. I can tell you stories. There's some people, it's so bad. I mean, we're not talking about just mega churches. Even in local churches, conferences, self-supportive ministries, this stuff is wild. We're talking about greedy. They stole, they keep, they hide, and they do it again. And they overlook their flaws because they can preach the 3 angels' messages. And they can quote Ellen White. They can quote Bible prophecy, right? They can quote the spirit of prophecy. And we say, it's all good. It's all right. God is love. Oh, Lord have mercy. One that ruleth his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. Boy, if we were to go in some people's homes and examine the condition of their homes before we hire them in the ministry, may I tell you again, over 90% of them will be disqualified. Lord have mercy. And friends, I'm not in the business of condemning people. I got to take care of my own self. Set your house in order. But I'll tell you what, going back to Tony Evans, that's a respectable move. That's a respectable move. Any minister who will take accountability for that and say, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing, even though he didn't reveal it. There must be some reason why he didn't reveal it. But nevertheless, the fact he chose to do that, I respect that. I respect that. Can you imagine if he did not do that and later on we find out, broken heart, cancel culture, get rid of his book, get rid of his tapes. This is what tends to happen. People lose confidence in the message, they lose confidence in God. I think this is a good look for him, although I still wonder what that sin is. I'm going to be honest. But I can work past that. There's a warning here for us to take heed, friends. I'm telling you. May the Lord have mercy on us. For those who've been called into the ministry, let's humble ourselves before the Lord. Let me tell you what the Apostle Paul says, and this is where I take my stand. Yep, look at verse 9. Listen. Serving the Lord with all humility of mind, with many tears and temptation, which befall me by the lying in wait of the Jews. Listen. Look at the standard. Serving the Lord. What kind of attitude? With all humility of minds. How else? Tears in your eyes, brethren. Temptation. And what else? We are told, next he did, I kept back nothing that was profitable unto you. So the point is, preach the word, teach the word, tell people the truth, but remain humble. Remember who you serve is the Lord, my dear friends. Love the people. Have a burden. Have tears in your heart. Because this is it. This is the standard. This is where you're watching yourself. You're keeping a keen eye on your condition. And I'm telling you, as we talk about this, I need to leave here and go pray because my family is ready for me. And I'm ready to have worship because it's like, yo, we better watch it, especially in these last days. Link in the description below. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Share your thought and perspective with me. What do you think is going on when it comes to the case of Tony Evans? Why you think he stepped out? Share with me why you think this is happening. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.